Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Mic check. Hello and welcome. Welcome one, welcome all to this stream dating 1st of May 2025, whereby it's a new trading month. We do anticipate new opportunities coming up, and let's see what the market has in store for us. So tomorrow is going to be NFP. Now, one thing I would like to, and can go to my downloads. I've been looking at this setup for a while now. It's not that one. Interesting. I thought I had taken a picture of this. So I am currently in a gold position, and my stop loss is already advanced to somewhere around that region. Let me confirm. It was a few pips away from my take profit. Just a few pips. It missed my take profit with how many pips? 100, less than 100 pips. With gold moving nowadays, if I can have my session breaks. Gold today is down nearly 2% on the day. From the starting price to where we are currently, nearly 800 pips. That's something so amazing in the sense that 800 pips in a day, that's quite significant amount of movement to have in the financial markets. Looking at the dollar index, not okay. The dollar index is picking up, and this is what we'll want to see, whereby the analysis was that we might start seeing the dollar gaining strength very soon. And this is what we've been saying, whereby the markets did break structure. We had a change of character, whereby these highs broke the most recent lower highs that were created. A short-term retracement, and other markets are currently moving to the upper side, which that's what we wanted to see. Volatility index is coming back down, of which is good for us because we don't want to anticipate a lot of activity, not a lot of volatility in the markets, which is good for us traders. But in the near future, we are in this region here on the volatility index. Now, the volatility index is a fear index, so you cannot technically you cannot do technical analysis to it. But if we go below the 20 region, the 20% region, it means that the markets will move towards normal movements, which is nearly 20% move per year. US 500 picking up now. US 500 didn't tag my point of interest, whereby I had buy limits around this region here at around 5,000. Now the markets are retraced, but it didn't tag me in, for which it's okay. Looking at it in hindsight, I should have had my Fibonacci from this low to this high. This was at that time we were doing analysis, it was somewhere around this region here. So I should have had my retracement around that region. I was anticipating prices to come back down to this gap. This was the new week opening gap. Was it? No. This was last week's gap that had formed. So I should, moving forward, we are going to correct on that. Nasdaq, similar instance whereby doing analysis was somewhere around this region. So what I should have done is have my Yeah, this is what needed to be done. I should have had my Fibonacci around this region here. I shouldn't have anticipated prices coming back. Now let me take a screenshot of that. Let me download these two images. Let me download that for Nasdaq and let me download this for US 30. Similar thing, whereby I should have had my Fibonacci from this low to where Friday's closing price was. Friday's closing price somewhere around this region here, which it did play out. Did play out beautifully. This is how many pips? This is like 1200 handles, which is quite decent in the financial markets. Russell picking up. This is what we wanted to see in the financial markets, whereby mid-cap stocks starting to regain quite a gain ever since the fears of a recession. Nearly 16% in almost 22 days. Quite decent. Treasury is picking up at the moment. Interesting. Brent oil. I was in a trade of US oil. It was WTI. Yeah, this was the setup I was in on US oil and it did take me out. So also this one needs to take a screenshot. What could I have done better? Honestly, nothing. What could I have done better? Yeah, selling was more likely. And US oil, I've been trying to counter trade US oil. And yeah, I think I need to backtest it more. But prices of oil are going back down into 50 something dollars a barrel, which is quite interesting at the moment. Really, really interesting. Let me see if I can have something. Okay, so balance. So US oil did check me out. Interesting. Interesting stuff to note. I thought it was going to retrace around the 60 region, around the magical region, but it didn't. We actually had further opportunities to the downside. Now let me look at trading economics. So this is going to be a spin-off of tomorrow, whereby we are going to trade NFP live. So jobless claims. Let's go here first. Unemployment claims has come out. Okay, not that bad. Difference of 20,000 jobs is not quite significant, but quite alarming if you look at it on the overall trajectory. Could this just have been to gather liquidity for a further push to the downside? 200, okay, 241,000. It's quite significant. Looking at the previous number last week came out at 221. So a difference of 20,000 jobs in the past week. Okay, that could be quite significant. Looking at, we were anticipating a forecast of around 224,000. So this could be quite the data to look at tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be the highlight of the week, whereby we do anticipate NFP numbers, and we're anticipating so bad. We're anticipating really bad numbers at 133,000. That's quite significant in the financial markets. Huh? So looking at gold, though, looking at gold, could we have a short-term retracement, then a further push to the downside? Why you gold? Yeah, looking at this structure before the year ends. Okay, last year we didn't see that happen, but Seasonality speaking, usually prices of gold tend to linger around the opening and the closing price of the year. So this year when it started, January, where are you, darling? Somewhere around this region. Could we go back to the year's opening price? It's quite a long way down, quite a long shot, huh? It's quite a significant amount of price movement to the downside. Nearly 6,000 pips. Quite significant, but could we just see prices going back low to those regions back down there? We do have a lot of inefficiencies, and as you can see, the markets are trying to make equal lows at the moment. Now, this is very interesting because tomorrow is NFP. I really like watching out for equal lows and equal highs in the marketplace. Whenever the market makes equal lows and highs, so tomorrow there's a high possibility we might tap into this region. Provided I'm looking at these numbers, and let's look at the data. Starting with the initial jobless claims. So it rose by 18,000 to 241K, the highest since February, and well above market expectations on a non-seasonally adjusted basis. So New York and Massachusetts were the biggest in terms of jobless claims. Mhm. It's due to the initial unemployment claims filed under programs for federal government employees, which have been under close scrutiny due to firings by the Doge, fell by 187 people to 470, quite significant. Despite the low number reports that many firings by Doge were done with severance packages preventing employees from claiming benefits immediately after being terminated. You've seen the numbers climb up quite significantly of late. What do we have to look at? Earnings did come out quite significant, but the highlight of the week is going to be NFP. I want to say, so tomorrow is going to be a holiday for Chinese yuan. So is it a good day to trade USD CNY? Only one way to find out. We do have ISM manufacturing coming out in the next 1 hour. I'm going to see that also. We're anticipating negative numbers, so let's see how that will come out at. But looking at NFP, my interest is in NFP. My interest is going to be NFP. Let's start from 2023. So we are forecasting 133,000. That's really low. The last time we were there was back in August 2024 on the forecast. Okay, let's look at the revision. Yeah, the actual number on the revision. So last month's numbers were revised back down to 105,000. Okay, interesting. Interesting stuff. What does this mean? So looking at my opportunity on gold, I want to see how this one is going to. But I'll be looking for more selling opportunities, especially if we come back. Okay, now having my Fibonacci from this high to this low, I'll look for further entry options to the downside on this retracement. But this is a win for me. This is a win for me currently at the moment. So an opportunity on this region here. Doable, not a buy one. I'd like a sell kindly. stop loss. Now, the thing about trading counter trends is very tricky to trade because of the way you're going to put your stop loss, because you're anticipating prices to retrace and then move to your direction. So, what are you going to do about it? Stop losses are very subjective. Like, I remember this position, I got out stopped twice in this position here because I entered, prices moved in my direction initially. I advanced my stop loss to break even, took me out. I entered another sold position, went in my favor, advanced it, took me out. I entered a buy position, went in my favor, advanced stop loss, took me out. So it's very interesting, really, really interesting to look at counter trends, especially with risk management. But I do believe I'm much more profitable selling gold. I don't know why, compared to buying. Statistic has it. Statistic has it. I'm more profitable selling gold compared to buying. But looking at Euro USD, okay, I'm in a position for Euro dollar, stopped out. Did we enter this position? I don't believe so. GBP USD, nothing happening. GJ has been on the rise. Whoa. USD Swiss franc. Yeah, so this is the position I'm in. USD CHF. I'm in this current position at the moment. Now, if tomorrow is going to be a bad day, meaning we might see the Swiss franc continuing its trend to the downside, because right now it's considered a safer haven. The Swiss franc is considered a safe haven, whereby we're still holding the magical retracement region. So hold on to see how this opportunity does play out. USD JPY, this was perfect. Speak H. I do believe I took a screenshot of the USD and when is this? About 25th. Okay, I didn't take a screenshot of this, but I would have loved to look at. I do believe. Okay, this was a perfect retracement, anticipating prices to move further to the downside. What a win! What a win! What a win! This was nearly 1:5. I do believe if I go back in time and if I look at my YouTube channel, I'm certain I will look, will find it. Because when is this? I do believe this was analysis done on 8th April. So it was done on the start of this month. Can look at this.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to week 13 analysis session. Let's dive deep. First and foremost, whenever we are doing analysis, we always look at the economic calendar. This is where everything saw 15,000 long positions being added, and as a result, between this week. Hello and welcome. Like here, this was less. So no one knows for the ball has to bounce. It to Euro USD. The markets have been very quiet. 84006. Currently, the United States that was created in the markets
Okay,
when
this was
the
it. This was
markets
it.
were
This was
trending
it.
into the
Let's
downside
see. Let's see.
at this region here. So this was a lower low, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high. This was the most recent lower low,
Yeah,
a
this
lower
was it.
high. Now the market
What
has
was I
broken the
thinking?
most recent lower low that was created back in March 2025. This is could be just a short-term retracement. If I was to speculate on these markets, I would want to wait for a short-term retracement or have a tight, have a very tight stop loss around that region there, targeting these lows at 140.159. Moving over to USD Canadian dollar. For the currencies, I want to be more of looking into price action. I don't want to be
Okay, that was a
speculating
good.
more,
That was a good
but if you look at the
speculation. Yeah,
daily,
this was the trade.
for the currencies, I want to be more of looking into price action. I don't want to be targeting these lows at
Yeah,
140.159.
this was the
Moving
trade.
over to
Nice, really
USD
nice,
Canadian
really, really,
dollar.
really, really
For
nice.
the current
So USD Canadian dollar, no Jimmy. We were looking at New Zealand, and New Zealand was very interesting because we were looking at this setup here. Let me remove the noise. Especially during the tariffs, huh? This was a good trade also. The tariffs did make us a quite significant amount of RRs. But moving back to New Zealand dollar, okay, so New Zealand dollar and Australian dollar, they are positively correlated. So New Zealand dollar has already started the journey to the downside. So meaning could we, could we, could we just be headed to the downside? Now the thing is, has the train already left the station if I was to execute this position? If I was to execute this position, where would I want to have my entries at? So would I want to have my entries just before NFP tomorrow? Because I do believe that if there was a move that is supposed to come in the financial markets very soon, NFP is going to engineer that liquidity. Because looking at this data, looking at the discrepancies that we do have between the forecast and the previous number, I do anticipate there's going to be actually a very, very big gap between 133,000 and the numbers that are going to come out, which is going to back a lot of volatility in the financial marketplace. And I would want to see, yeah, I would want to see how that works out. What's me thinking?
With features like Loop Goals and Invest for savings, quick loans and overdrafts, Loop Flex for buying now and paying later, all in one place. Get your own Loop Squad today and simplify your life. Loop it.
Guys, wait. Important message. First of all, I'm Rory Reed, and you're watching Auto Trader. Here's why you need to
convince us something is the truth, and then they screw everybody over. So just relative strength is fun for this reason. We do endless relative strength charts, and I know we have a lot of fun doing them between the three of us. It's my favorite part of technical analysis is relative strength, understanding how market mechanics work overall. So yeah, any other charts you guys are really watching right now or
I
interested?
have a question for you.
Yeah.
So I noticed your focus is on the Nasdaq mostly, and you're looking to trade or currently to buy the Nasdaq. What's the reason between choosing Nasdaq against the S&P, let's say?
Yeah. So NAS specifically is weighted heavily towards the big guys, right?
Yeah.
The Qs, which the QQQ is an ETF that tracks the Nasdaq. It's heavily weighted towards things like Microsoft and Meta and Apple. And right now, I still think those leaders are going to drive higher. They're kind of, from a trading perspective, I do typically, we've talked about this together as a group, do you typically favor the laggard or the leader? And when it comes to trading, I typically am more in favor of the leader. So when we talked about that silver concept that Miko mapped out and you did as well, Marco, like I would love to see silver take that leadership. And that's when I'd be looking to long silver. But for me personally, and we each have different styles, I personally don't want to buy the laggard. I'd buy the leader. And then if that changes, I'd bail on the leader and change to the new leader. So, but we have different approaches to that. I know, Miko, you typically are looking more for like, you want that swap in leadership. You want to catch that breakout, which can be violent and can be very lucrative if you're on the right side of that. So everybody has their different style. But I like Nasdaq. I think it's the leader currently of the indices. If we do see a rip higher, I think they profit a lot from AI.
Yeah, and earnings this week, earnings from the biggest companies. I think it's mostly like tech companies as well, so it could push the price even higher for the Nasdaq.
Yeah, Meta had a really good report. You can see it here. It is in the pre-market up, 7%.
Oh, that's great.
Microsoft also had really good earnings. Look at Microsoft, 8.5%. I wish I owned that stock. I do not.
I know Tesla had bad earnings and it still went up.
Yeah, Tesla, and that's the trickiness with the earnings stuff is like, it's all like, okay, how did you do in this previous quarter, but also how are you planning to do going forward, and what's the big changes? So earnings are a madhouse to try and predict or try and trade around, but it's kind of like trading NFP for FX or for futures and stuff like that. But just something to think about. Miko, I want to ask you, because it is always interesting to get that perspective. I think Marco and I tend towards a little bit more of like the leader, riding that momentum. You were looking more for the catch-up trades often. Is that right? I don't want to say that unless that's correct about your style of trading. Is that like, let's say you're looking at gold and silver, or you're looking at euro and pound, things that are kind of correlated. You're looking to catch the bigger, the better pullback, the better value. Is that right?
Yeah, that's kind of my thinking, especially in FX, because we don't tend to trend too often or for too long. So when something has gone for a while and then I can start to see it shifting, then that's kind of where I see opportunity, because there is typically, if it does turn around and we do see the correction of that, typically the move from that is going to be pretty big, or at least meaningful to catch as well. And especially for like gold and silver, or even euro and pound sometimes, but more so for like gold and silver. Typically, if gold's going to have a big move, potentially silver could catch up, or vice versa as well. And yeah, I think just by nature as well, I tend to drift to more of those type of opportunities, just because maybe it slept on a little bit, and then potentially we might see price going to catch up with everything else.
Yeah, no, it's again, there's great strategies that can be built around both, right? Catching the leader, riding that momentum, or catching the resurgence of the laggard. So all sorts of stuff to dive into in markets. We've run out of time, guys. We've got to go to our next stream segment here. We got Forex James taking over after this. Before we pass the show over to him, let me just remind everybody, if you enjoyed commentary from Miko and Marco, they come on every week. We talk all sorts of technical analysis. We've mixed in some fundamentals on our segment together, and I always look forward to it. So if you do too, you can find out more content from both of these guys. They share a ton of free stuff on their own respective YouTube channels. Miko Audu on YouTube, there is his channel on the screen, and then of course Marco's trading journey as well. Search them up if you're on a television or something where you can't click a link. You can search them up on YouTube, and if you're on a desktop or mobile, you can just click the links that just got dropped in the chat. Make sure to go subscribe and check out some of their content. Guys, thank you very much for coming on today.
Thank you. Next week. Goodbye.
See you next time.
Guys, thank you very much for coming on. Thank you. In the chat. Next time. Guys, thank you very much for coming on. I really like. Oh, sorry about that. Sorry about that. I really like this guy's analysis session. He's very adept at what he does. And let me do this so that I don't distort the audio again. Whenever he's presenting in the markets, this is one of the few people whereby I tend to look up to.
Because of their low trading costs, a wide range of trading assets, and their amazing customer support. If you'd like to get access to our software and Discord server for free, click the link being dropped in the chat right now and ask one of our team members for more information.
I'm thinking
Don't
of
miss your
getting
chance
this
for
software.
free products and
is
an
really
award-winning broker. Now, back to the A1 Trading Show.
Hello, Quang. It's not Chris. My name's James. Chris is on after me. Hey, guys. How's everyone doing? Hope you're all well, enjoying your Thursdays. Slow markets today. We do have NFP and unemployment tomorrow, so expected to see some slowdown in the markets, especially tomorrow. Likely to see very little movement until
so the day before NFP, usually the markets are.
Okay, so open positions, pretty much the same as yesterday. The only unfortunate thing is Euro New Zealand was stopped at break even. I personally re-entered this, but yeah, I'm just sort of testing the water again. I still think this is a great.
He has a big stop loss
but
compared to the tech
profits. Then I'm a little bit hesitant to jump straight back in.
For some people,
Swiss.
For some
I'll
people,
cover
it
this
does
one
work.
maybe later in the stream. Euro pound. This one has been a little bit difficult. The euro seemed to have had a bit of a sell-off yesterday. So we went from pretty.
He has only 5 current. Oh my lord.
Tricky. I did say yesterday that we're a little bit overexposed, so it was always one of those risks when you've got multiple positions open on one currency or one asset. Then euro is going to be exposed to a little bit more. Not euro. Swiss. We're on Swiss yen. Scaled into Swiss yen this morning, actually, after the Bank of Japan rate decision. It came out slightly dovish. It didn't seem like they're really interested in hiking rates right now, which again is expected. I did talk about this yesterday. So I've used that as a benefit to scale into a longer term position. Sorry, 1 second. I tried to have my fan on. I don't know if that was affecting the mic or not. So yeah, scaled into Swiss yen, but remember, this is a long-term position. I'm expecting to hold this one for months, maybe even a year, 2 years. So I've got absolutely no problem just letting this one run out. It doesn't affect me at all. It's very low risk. Watch list hasn't changed, to be honest.
Imagine entering a position you want to hold it for a year. Oh my lord, you need to have patience.
My portfolio is pretty full, as I just showed you. I've still got some open positions going. So let me just pull up the edge finder here. So we've got actually, I'll filter that. Don't care about neutral things. We've got the UK 100. We've got the pound dollar, New Zealand dollar. So it looks quite bearish on the US dollar. So let's have a little look at the dollar. Now, to be honest, I don't like to go against the edge finder because the edge finder is obviously based on data, so it's very hard.
Buying the United
States. But in this case, I'm a little bit cautious about the dollar because I've spoken about this quite a lot recently, but I'm just very, very unsure of the current level that the dollar's at. I mean, we're at this fib level. Obviously, if we draw it from low to high, this is the golden zone, technically. So that's something I don't really want to sell straight into. We've also got this really strong level of resistance turn support. We've had a really strong wick to the downside last week. On the last monthly candle, showing that sellers haven't been able to really break below just yet. I'm not saying that it's not going to go lower. I'm just saying right now, I'm not 100% sure. I wouldn't really want to sell right now. As well as trade tensions between China, America, and Europe and America seem to be relaxing a little bit. So the last thing I heard about the trade war, if you will, was that Europe has got a plan that they're going to present to America. It seems like China and America are also in discussions or potentially about to get into discussions. So it takes a little bit of that pressure off. It seems, as far as I'm concerned, everything's priced in to the dollar now. It doesn't seem like there's much else really going on, as well as just the general price action. We've got a huge sell-off here with very little pullback. We had a
Makes
very
sense.
small move here to the upside, but then followed by 2 weeks of selling. Even 3 weeks of selling. So I would say that the dollar is a little bit oversold technically, and it doesn't really have any new factors to continue pushing down. But of course, that could completely change tomorrow with NFP and unemployment. So we will see. But yeah, selling the dollar right now to me is a little bit too aggressive. We are seeing a shift in risk as well. We can see the yen is down massively. Oh, well, not massively, but it is down. We've got the Swiss down as well. We've got the euro coming down and dollar up. We've also got gold coming down. And NASDAQ going to the upside. So very classic, very typical risk on market sentiment at the moment. So yeah, I'm not looking to be risk off. I'm not bothered about gold long. I said yesterday that gold long technically looked quite nice, but I just couldn't justify going into it. If we do have an entry, it would actually be where it is right now. I really like this level. But again, with the current momentum in the markets, the current sentiment, I cannot justify buying gold. So the recent developments have given investors a quite a good chance to start taking profits, which is very clear has happened. We are still in an uptrend overall, so you do have that, but yeah, fundamentally, just can't justify it. Hey James, US dollar yen has touched 140. Do you think it's exhausted?
Yeah, and
or may push lower?
very very wise
I
words.
wouldn't say dollar yen's going to push lower at the moment. I would love
Will
to say
the
yes. I really like dollar yen shorts.
will they start covering up their positions on longs on gold?
Again, going back to what I was saying about market sentiment, we're seeing yen down, dollar up. It seems like there's just not really any reason to short dollar yen right now. We've had the Bank of Japan rate decision last night that came out quite dovish. So yeah, going short, to be honest, it would have to be a technical play because the fundamentals don't align for dollar yen right now. Yeah, I'm sitting quite flat. If we came into the previous highs, so around here towards 148, maybe I would consider just going in for a technical sell. But yeah, again, fundamentally, just no reason really. Nobody FX, the same thing goes to you on pound yen. It's exactly the same analysis. It's the same idea. So no reason to, in my view. I don't operi stocks. Diego. No, I don't touch stocks. Well, that's a slight lie. I do touch stocks, but not from my own analysis. It's from my other trader that does do stocks. So I'll take his signals, but I don't know anything about the stock market other than like the
retracement. If I was to speculate on these markets, I would want to wait for a short-term retracement.
Leave a like. Leave a like, man. Leave a like. Let's go to where excuse me. Let's go to where the government nowadays is being run. Okay. I like Mr. Rufus Kamal. If someone changed your timeline and took you back to the year 1169 AD with all your 24, can you teach them how to make a computer and mobile phone, safe for medicines, garments, how to harness electricity from waterfalls, solar, geothermal, how to make a gun, large scale farming, how to make soap from scratch, cars. What actual value can you bring to them in terms of tech? How will you prove that you are from the future? We have to look at this. Yeah. How long will it take for you to convince those poor villagers to exchange their fruits for their total food price? Ah, this is a very good answer. I remember these there was a comedian back in high school, and then he was like, if someone gave you $1 million today, what will you do with that money? And then people were like, I'll do this, I'll do that. And then he was like, who's going to give you that 1 million? But I've never had an answer to that except today. The lesson is more about what you really know today. Okay? Very true. What would I do if I went back into the year 1169 AD? What would I do? I need some time to think about it. With all the knowledge I have in 2025, what happened in the year 1169? I will go. I will take over England, man. I will take over England. I don't know what I'll do, but I'll go to the monarchy. I'll go to the royal family. I don't know what I'll do to do that, but this lady, Elon Musk, been wearing many hats for a long time. Oh my god. I didn't know about that. ChatGPT works in Excel and Google Sheets. Interesting thing, I don't know even a single formula for that. I know this place. Struggle brings more men closer to God.
Imagine a man who's born with a perfect life, perfect parents, endless money, no adversity, no struggle, nothing ever goes wrong, doesn't need to train, he's skinny, nobody ever attacks him. That man is an evil hedonist, he's petty, kind of person who will hurt those weaker than him, try and use his influence and power for nefarious purposes. People who only have pleasures in their life do not experience connection with God, friend, but all of the suffering, see, suffering is what reminds you.
Okay, sometimes I listen to Undertale, but sometimes listening to, yeah, we listen, but we don't judge. Women. To all men, what's the one thing a man should do or should avoid at all costs if he wants to save money? Women. There was a coup I was learning about, and it was very interesting. About this guy was almost taken out several times. What do you need now? Laptop, new phone, pay rent, clear debt, 500 Gs. Please be honest. I have to look at those answers. Debts. New phone, new phone, new phone, laptop. Debt. 500, 500. Prop farm. Very soon, very soon. Because of my time to test your understanding. Using only the back, I know this chart to show how do you capture shots based on. Okay, this might sound aggressive, but I don't believe in. I don't, I don't believe in much money concept. Like I've made money, not from trading. Everything works. Everything works. Everything does work, and I respect that. I know of people who have spent quite a significant amount of time studying about ICT and they've made money. But I also know quite a significant amount of people who have spent a lot of time studying ICT and they have not made money. So everything works. You just need to find out on what works for you. I will. Plus, the thing about ICT that really gets me is it's so much easier in hindsight. After things play out, it's so easy to know where you could have entered, where you could have exited, and it's so good to note it. Order block. I don't know what. I don't know any of these terminologies, but I'm in a gold cell, so I don't know. Yeah, I'm in a gold cell, and I'm making money just because of. Yeah. So anyway, let this slide. I saw this video. ICT. Oh my lord. Okay. Banks low-key benefit when citizens are afraid to make huge lump sum withdrawals due to $5 range attacks, kidnappings. You know about it. You guys from Mangata Barkoi. Where's Barkoi? I've seen that there is some wall over there. Barkoi. It's near Naroka. It is near Maro. No, it is. Eish. Where are we? What country is this, man? Gone to India. Yeah. Anyway, there's a lot of war happening over there. Oh, it's Barikoi. No Barikoi. So could the stocks be the one in charge of what you've been saying? The earnings? Because yeah, some people speculate that there's insider information. Look at this. Very interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. Let me take note of these patterns. Let me note it. So there's a tendency of the markets dipping fast before. So this was how many people move? Nearly 100 handles. Quite significant, huh? Quite significant. Then the markets did gain almost how many percent this move? Nearly 3.5%. Quite decent. Quite decent. So we'll don't look into this in the near future. But then that brings me to Kwaisi. When are we going to have earnings for NSE? So GLD has, the last time we were looking at it, it was around 4,000. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was 4,000, come back down. So lost like 75 shillings. But I want to look at the banks. I want to look at the banks, starting with Absa. So how much have they been paying per dividend? So a share is 18 shillings. Daily volume is quite significant. Could you day trade these things? Like, could you? Okay. Mm-hmm. That's quite yeah, this is one of the biggest banks in Kenya. They are recovering on the year to date. They're the banks that let's look at equity. Equity is down 5% for the year. Okay. Equity is down 5%. This one trades at 45 bob a share. I think I might just start trading NSE. CIC is up 35%. Carbaseed, Standard Chartered, Bombori, BK, Williamson, Stanbic NCBA, Cooperative, Crown Paints, and then Eish, what's this group? Merafi Resources. Who are you? You pay 25. It's a company in South Africa. What do they deal in? It's cents or somehow. What is it supposed to be? Is it supposed to be cents? Non-energy minerals. Okay. Okay. Most of the companies are in South Africa. I don't believe so. Kenya. I'm interested in Kenya. Really interested in Kenya. The highest dividend yield in Kenya is 15%, Standard Chartered. Huh? The highest dividend in South Africa is 25%, and it's a mining company. Like mining takes the first three. Okay. What does that mean? But I want Kenya. I want Kenya. Standard Chartered at 15%. So the first one in Kenya is finance. Standard Chartered is a big bank. It's a big bank. So price to earning ratio is at 5.7. Okay. I need to sit down and do these mathematics. I need to sit down and do these mathematics. They do move. Kengen is moving a lot of money in and out on a day. DTB is at 9%. So inflation is at usual. If you look at it, inflation is usually 6 to 12%. So how much are you going to need to make money? Quite significant, huh? But this is passive income. That's not inflation in Kenya. So we are at 4.1. I don't believe this data. Let's look at Central Bank of Kenya, what it tells us. So it's 4.1. Okay. Let's look at the 10 years. The highest inflation we've ever seen was back in 2017. Came back down to nearly 4. October 2022 it was around 9.6. Came back down. Yeah, ever since this government took over, inflation came down. Okay. So let's say average inflation averaging 5%. Average inflation. Meaning you'll still be around 8% in profit. %8 a year. So let's say if an asset increases by 8% in a year, compound interest calculator. Why are we going here? ChatGPT, come here, baby. Okay. If I invest 1,000 USD at an interest of 8% per year, for 10 years, 10 years, 10 years, how much do I have? I forgot to specify that. So in 10 years, basically my money would have doubled. More than, because this is the minimum. This is the minimum taxes. If you remove taxes, 15%. The numbers are mathing. The mathing are mathing. Interesting. Really interesting stuff. I want to get into this so quickly. So quickly. It's all about passive income. The money I get in Forex, transfer it there. But first, goal needs to hit my take profit. It was so close, man. So close. It was so close to my take profit. That's going to be it for me on this stream. but the goal is to create passive income, and that's where we're headed to. I want to go into that field as quickly as possible. Field of passive income whereby your money is making money as you sleep. But it's not as easy as people think, because you have to get the right mindset, you have to get the right companies, you have to get the right resources to be able to achieve such kinds of feats in the financial markets. Yeah, so that's going to be it for me. Take care of yourself. Tomorrow live stream, let me just even, before we end this stream, let me create a live stream for tomorrow. Let me create a live stream for tomorrow. Stay safe, take care of yourselves.